Hello, hello from sunny England. It is sunny here today, and I'm really excited about that. I'm struggling a little bit with my jet lag and effects of a plane, but that's all right. I'm here, and that's the important thing. So uh, it's a bit of a potluck thing today because I sent my invite out to a couple of people, and I've been told a couple can't come. So, but I know that my lovely friend Julie is going to try and make it here today as well. So let's see how we go, and let's see how my struggling goes. But anyway, I'm over here in sunny England, as I say. And yesterday I went out and about with family. I've put some photographs up onto Facebook, and I'm so excited because I love Hever Castle, which is the palace or one of the palaces of Henry VIII. And I went there with my family. So that was really lovely to be able to share that occasion with them yesterday. So really, really enjoyed that. But it was a long, tiring day. And here I am today. Now, this tour, as a lot of you know, is going to be, thanks, Helen, is going to be pretty full on. And I've just realized that I've told people I'm going on one day and I'm not actually going another day. So I've just got a bit confused. But it's actually quite funny. I think it was only last week that I looked at the days or the dates on my schedule and I went, oh, how do I get from there to there? I've got no time. So I'm doing a bit of a juggling act at the moment, getting from place to place. So I'm here in Edenbridge in Kent at the moment, which is called the Garden of England, and it is gorgeous. And it's not too far from where I started my spiritual journey, which was West Wickham, which is just up the road here. In Australia, we say just up the road, but it's about 20 miles, something like that. But to us, it's not a problem. Hi, Barry, lovely to see you. And yeah, so my spiritual journey started here in this particular area, and I'm so glad that all of that happened, and I'm so glad. Even more glad, if you like, that Australia happened, because I know that that is where I was supposed to end up and where I'm supposed to be. But after 4 years of not traveling, it's been brilliant to come back and see family so far. So on Tuesday or Wednesday, I haven't worked that out yet because, again, my calendar workings out have not been brilliant. I'm rubbish. I really am. I leave everything. I do everything on a song and a prayer, and then hope it all comes together in the end. And it usually does. So fingers crossed that this comes together as well. So I'm sitting in an Airbnb place in Edenbridge in Kent, which is really lovely. There are some places that I thought I might be able to make. I was hoping to be able to go to West Wickham Church to visit, but I can't. Julie, I've just sent you a link. If you want to join me on that link, that would be absolutely wonderful. But as you can hear, I'm very nasally. So when I fly, I always get affected by the air conditioning and the pressure. So I'm really struggling at the moment. So fingers crossed I won't cough and splutter, and hopefully it will all be all right. So I'm hoping that Julie will be able to join us, because I will be going to work with Julie on the 16th of September, and I would love her to come on and talk about the conference that she's set up. She's a very hardworking, spiritual young lady who's done everything against all the odds in her life, as a lot of us do. But she's been successful at what she's doing, which is really good. So, yep. And so two frustrating things. My English bank card was cancelled at the beginning of August, apparently. And so they've sent a new one, but I didn't even know it had arrived. So I haven't been able to get any money out, which is annoying. And Brett Thomas will laugh at this one. I sent away for a British SIM card and it arrived, but I didn't read the instructions properly. And it said, do not put your SIM card in. Well, I opened it and ripped that bit off, so I didn't see it. And I put my SIM card in, and it's actually blocked my phone. So today should be the day that my phone gets unblocked. So again, there's lots of fingers crossed so far on this trip, which is really a bit crazy. So I'm hoping now that everything will go nice and smoothly. So heading to Wales to do my very, very first show in Wales, which is at Caerphilly, and it's in the town centre, which is called the Twyn. Now, I think maybe the Twyn means the town. I'm not 100% sure. I should have looked that up. But anyway, so if anybody's in the Caerphilly, Bristol, Newport, Bedwas, any of that area there, Cardiff even, do come along and join Karen and I. We'll be doing a demonstration of mediumship, and I absolutely love working with Karen. She's a great medium. And of course, we started our journey going back to West Wickham. We started our journey, both of us together, which was, it's interesting how it's all come full circle, isn't it? Anyway, I'm rattling like mad, but it's been absolutely gorgeous to spend time with my granddaughters. I got out of the car yesterday and I heard, "Here's Nanny," and I wasn't even out of the car, I was just getting out of the car and I could hear them across the road. So that was just really lovely. So a couple of days more to spend with them. Yeah, see how we go. Anyway, so if you've got any questions and you've got any names for healing, please do let me know. Put the information on the side here and or in the comments box. And when I was at Hever Castle yesterday, it was 4 years ago that I was there the last time, and I actually bought a book, which is Anne Boleyn's prayer book, and I've used it as a healing names book. And then mine ran out, and my lovely friend Bella, who needs some healing, so we'll put her on the healing list. She managed to get me another one just as my first one was running out. So her one that she got me is now running out, and I managed to get another one yesterday. So I was super, super excited about that. And it's just a really, I don't have the old one or the new one. They're in the car. But anyway, all good. And I'm just looking at what I wanted to. Oh, yeah. So Caerphilly is next. That's going to be a really good evening. And tickets are on the door. If anybody's interested, tickets are on the door. And then, well, oh gosh, I'm heading off to Portugal. I'm super excited about that. One, I've never been to Portugal. Two, I'm going with my lovely friend Ian. And three, I will get to meet Bruno, who was on my live a couple of weeks ago, and he's going to take us around doing some sightseeing. But we're actually working in a community where they're mainly Portuguese speaking. So it's going to be interesting. I've worked in countries many times where I've had to work with translators, which can actually hold you up a little bit. But, I know that Spirit will do their best and it will be brilliant. But I'm doing 2 shows, one with Bruno, which I'm very excited about, and then one on my own. So there's 2 shows on the 12th of September in the same venue, but one at 2:00 and one at 7:00. Di, please add Elanid to the healing list. Yeah, that's really good, Di, that you're actually coming to Caerphilly. It'll be really lovely to see you after all these years. But it's 4 years since I've been in Britain, and it's just, I think it's been too long because I used to come twice a year. Anyway, so Elanid, I will put her on the healing list, of course. So Portugal is going to be exciting. And then from Portugal, I go to Bristol. Now, I'm really hoping that Julie does come on because it will be really interesting to talk to her about, as I say, her conference, which is something that she's been doing for a few years. And she runs an organization called SMBN, which is Single Mums Business Network. And she is a single mum herself, and she's been fighting and battling the system for so many years, and she's trying to help so many other, not just mums, it's dads as well, who are single parents. But she's done it in a way that is, I find it quite interesting, because she's ended up going right to the top. She went to the Houses of Parliament and she's lobbied the ministers. And yeah, I think, she must have been one of Emily Pankhurst's suffragettes in the day. I'm sure she would have been one of those that chained herself to the railings outside of Parliament Parliament House, or was it Downing Street? Downing Street, I think it was. Anyway, she would have been one of those people. But, you know, it's for anybody that is a single parent that is listening to this, it is not an easy journey. And having seen, I mean, I was a single parent, but having seen Julie's journey, I realized, you know, how difficult that is. But I won't say any more about that, because I really am hoping she's probably frantically trying to put her makeup on and make herself look gorgeous. Anyway, so Bristol is on the 16th of September. And then really, really excited to be coming back to the Harlequin Theatre, which is a beautiful theatre in the middle of Redhill town. And for any of you that know me or have known me for a long time, the Harlequin is a place that I used to go to do theatres events myself, and I was there regularly, and it was absolutely gorgeous to go there and, you know, get so much support. Hello, Nat, lovely to see you. And so we're going back, but there's 4 of us, so it'll be myself and Jenny Doherty, who is so funny but such an incredible medium, and then Neil Payne, who also is a good medium, and Karen, who I've worked with before, as you know. So that'll be the 4 of us at the theatre. So get your tickets. Very important that you try and do that. And then from the Harlequin, I'll be working with Jenny. Now, excuse me. I should mention that it was so lovely because at Christmas time, Jenny, Ian, and myself were all together in Sydney at Christmas time, and now we're all together again. And we like the 3 amigos, you know, we get up to trouble and get into mischief and all sorts of stuff. So, but we all caught up the other day, and it was just so lovely to be back with them. So I'm looking forward to working with Jen, and Jen's got a couple of events for us. So one is at the Tea Rooms in Havant, which tickets are selling out like crazy, apparently, and the Borough Football Club, which is again going to be a great evening. I'll talk about that in a second, because the lovely Julie has just arrived. Hey, Julie.
Hi.
Hi. I'm glad you were able to make it. I just told people that you were probably frantically putting your face on to make yourself look gorgeous.
Oh no, Val, I look like this when I wake up in the morning. I just had to put some perfume on.
I wish that were true. I have the same issue. It's just frustrating. I was just talking about you and your book, and it's breaking out of Benefits Jail, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Do you know, it's just so lovely to have you here on English soil, Val. I'm so excited. It feels like I can almost touch you, you know. But yes, it's lovely. It's just lovely having you here in this country. Breaking out of Benefits Jail is the book. You know, when you sent me the link to say come on in, I thought you meant to watch. So I'm just sat here in my scruffs like doing that. Anyway.
I knew you would. Anyway, it's really lovely to see you, and I'm really looking forward to the conference on the 16th. And apparently I'm setting your conference off with doing a mediumship demonstration. So I'm super excited about that. You know, it's funny because a friend of mine was doing a psychic fair the other day, and I've done it twice for her. I've opened the psychic fair by doing a mediumship dem. So I feel honored that I'm doing the same for you, which is really lovely.
Yeah,
so tell us about the conference and what that's all about.
So yeah, the conference, I mean, I was lucky. I was listening to what you were saying, and you're quite right. It has been about, since I started the Single Mums Business Network in 2019, it really has been about trying to explain the challenges and how they impact everybody. You know, very simple barriers that should not exist, barriers to homes, finance, and work, you know, that's flexible, in sync with childcare. You know, and as a consequence of all of those barriers, our community is faced with a lot of stigma, a lot of negative public perception, and very rarely, certainly when I became a single mum, I wasn't seeing anything showcasing that we're just normal women. You know, many of us are either divorced or widowed or choosing to be single, and it, you know, I think that there is a very, very what do you call it? His brain's gone to fry. there's a very negative public perception. It doesn't really, I mean, most single mothers are in their 30s or 40s, and you do tend to think that a single mother is often branded a lifestyle choice, somebody who's been irresponsible when they're younger. And it's just really horrible, all of those stigmas that exist. So first of all, I wanted to connect with single mums who've got a strong work ethic, and I realised, of course, since setting up the Single Mums Business Network, that actually I think probably 98% of us do. It's not the minority, it's the majority. We've got clean, tidy homes, intelligent children, happy children, and we work hard. Nothing's changed. We were just more accepted by society a few years ago when we had 2 cars on our drive, and sort of the 2.4 picture. But so really it has been about, like you said, climbing that ladder and getting the message across. I think really initially they're all interlinked, but I was really tackling the flexible working issue, and really wanting to get politicians to kind of make it mandatory really for companies to offer 0.6 or 0.8 full-time equivalent in skilled and salaried roles, because when you become any parent, not just single parent, you're looking then for work that fits around your childcare, and with all the good intention in the world, people are saying, oh, you can go and work as a cook or a cleaner, or carer, and they're really noble jobs. But actually, when you've trained and skilled to do something, you don't want to leave your career. You just need to do your career in sync with what childcare is available.
I'm just going to stop you there, because I was telling people that I'm sure that in a previous lifetime you were one of Emily Pankhurst's suffragettes chained to Downing Street and things like that. I can just imagine, because I know how hard you fought for what you believe in.
Yeah, exactly. And this conference is so much about that. It has been kicking and screaming. I think people see this stuff, but what they don't realise is for every sort of 2 positive interactions I have, there have been 998, ignored emails or ignored connections. And there's a lot of effort that goes on behind the scenes to say, you basically tugging on the trousers and saying, I'm here, listen to me. So the conference is a big deal, and it's been so difficult holding it all together this year. As you said, I've been doing it as a single mum, and over the 4 years, I haven't been doing it as a wealthy businesswoman. I've just been doing it, blood, sweat, and tears whilst doing my own work and out of my own income. So, so this conference, I've managed to get together the British Business Bank and Experian, as well as Purple Shoots, who've been a brilliant help for me personally. They're a community development financial institution, and they offer sort of business finance to those of us who are normally rejected by mainstream banks. I did have one of the mainstream banks actually ask to come and be a speaker.
Oh.
And yes, and I said no, because I've been tugging on their legs for years, and they are one of the perpetrators of claiming very publicly to support women in business. And what I keep saying to them is, you don't support women in business, you support women with money. There's a very big difference. I'm interested in the people who will support women out of adversity, and they won't reject you based on what you've been through, and the financial trauma that you've experienced, and then how attractive you are on paper. So yeah, I said thanks, but no thanks. You're a bit too late in the day, So the British Business Bank is a big one, and Experian, because when you have a CCJ and you're rejected, Experian are currently working on trying to more fairly report your financial behaviour. At the moment, it just extracts probably 5% of the information that's out there, so it can make you look really bad when you're actually really good. And of course, CCJ
just explaining, a CCJ is a county court judgment, because people are going to watch this in other countries and they may not understand what that is. But I just wanted to ask you as well, so this is your experience in Britain. Do you think that this is a similar situation in other countries as well? Now, it's interesting because I've just been recently speaking to an Indian lady who had an arranged marriage, and then got divorced, and the stigma with that is awful. But she was saying that the marriage issues in India, and then the pressure domestic violence and the suicide rates are so high. So it's not just in Britain, this is worldwide, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. There's so many issues that are worldwide. And it's interesting you say that, because one of the members who's joined recently, Sonia Gupta, she's a divorce coach, and she was very much from that sort of background of the stigma that comes with divorce. And so she's quite famous in her home country. I don't know if she was born now here, but her sort of nieces and nephews, she's like a hero there, because she went against the grain and she did the divorce, and she had a divorce party, and I think half people were horrified and half people were celebrating it. And of course we've got Aruna, who's the Asian Single Parent Network. She's a member, and she also offers that specialist support to those communities who face stigma on top of what is already a difficult situation. And we're quite lucky, we're quite liberated, but and I know in Australia and America, there is similar issues with childcare and, available finance and supporting women to overcome adversity and thrive anyway. This documentary on tonight, I think BBC have just reported heavily on domestic violence and the amount of deaths, like you said. So there's a lot of work being done, but yeah, we've got a lot of work to do. We're still really suffering. When we shouldn't be suffering. I mean, these are man-made problems, and there's no excuse for them. It's the 21st century. The problems that we're suffering with, we just shouldn't be. It's taking our energy and our time, and that energy and time should be focused on other things.
So just tell me, because this isn't something that happened to you yesterday. This has been going on for years for you, because I remember when I first met you, and I just wanted to tell people this, because I was actually doing the healing weekend in somewhere in the West Country. I can't even remember where it was now. And along comes this beautiful young lady who bought my book, because I was selling a different book at the time. And we ended up having a chat, and we've become good friends since then. It's spiraled from there. But how long ago was that?
So that was 12 years ago. I was married at the time. I wasn't a mum, but I was, well, this is interesting actually. I was a very, very unhappy person. I had lots of unhealed trauma, and I was really looking. It was a healing event that I met you at, and I really, you literally did glow like an angel. And I thought, and there was a couple of things that you said. We didn't have a direct reading, but there was a couple of things that you said that I felt like you knew. There was something in your energy, and there was something in, and the messages that you were delivering for other people. I knew that you were the real deal, and I thought, this lady's incredible. So I came over to you, like, I was like a little fan, and I was like, please talk to me, and I want to know you, and I want to have an event where maybe we could do readings with a few people. And you were really open to that, and you came, and like you said, we built that relationship from there. And then I went on my own healing journey of making peace with the fact that I didn't want to be a wife. That life didn't suit me. That personality, I wanted to be a free and independent woman. Not independent. I'm very dependent on my friends and family and my network, but independent in terms of my home. And I like to get up, and if I want to get in the car and go somewhere for a week on my own, I can. With Kaylin, I just wasn't cut out. I was playing along with what I thought I had to be, what society told me I had to be by the time I was a woman in my early 30s. And then if it worked, and then when I miscarried in that, when we married, for me, that was a massive sign from the universe saying, no, start again. So then I did. I went off, and as a single woman, I still became a mother. But then I wasn't worried about doing it on my own, because I knew I had a strong work ethic. And I really believed at that point that it would just be a case of putting my daughter into childcare and carrying on with work and being self-sufficient and having financial autonomy and paying my bills and paying childcare. I really did think it would be that simple, because nobody tells you in your teens or 20s, they tell you to go on a career path or go to university or get qualifications or get a degree or just progress in work. They don't actually tell you that you're going to come up against a massive brick wall once you start a family, because the childcare doesn't actually cover that 48 weeks per year for the full day. At least it doesn't in many areas of the UK. Some areas do, but most areas don't. And if it's not the availability, it's the affordability. So it's two things combined. I just didn't realise. I thought that I could do it on my own. I never intended to need any support. I just intended to keep working. And that was when this whole world opened up to me. And I was like, oh, wow. You know, and my house was repossessed and I needed to claim benefits and, you know, all of those things. I mean, everything just, and then my credit, you know, my credit score was adversely affected. And I thought, this is insane. I just want to keep working. Why am I losing everything? And why am I suddenly on benefits? And why does society suddenly look at me like a scumbag instead of this woman that they used to turn to for professional advice? So yeah, it was painful, and I cried in my soup for a couple of years alongside doing the law degree and building the business. And then I got angry and I thought, no, this isn't okay. And then Purple Shoots came along and offered me some finance to sort of take the business forward. You helped me as well. And, you know, and I thought, you know, without these people, I'd probably be dead right now. My daughter wouldn't have a mother. I couldn't cope with it. It's too much for any one person to cope with, the trauma and the stigma and the financial hardship and everything that you lose. So, yeah, it's been my mission to kind of help my community and the wider community and the wider society, because the impact, the tax burden, you know, versus the tax benefits of taking away these problems is obvious. It amazes me that they find it so hard to understand. I do talk too much now, sorry.
No, that's all right. I was just going to say, have you got a link to your book that people, if they're interested, they can go along and buy it?
Yeah, so it's on the website. So if you Google SMBN for Single Members Business Network.
Are you able to put it up? Yeah, you could pop it up on the screen, I think. If you go to the banners, and you should be able to put it in there.
Yeah, let me find out.
Yeah. But after all of that, while you're doing that, after all of that, Kaylin has got the most beautiful daughter who has not missed out, even though she has missed out. And it's very interesting. And she's a very well-rounded, fully educated, intelligent, funny, beautiful little girl. And I know you're very proud of her, Julie. And I'm looking forward to seeing her as well when I come over. Are you managed to do it?
Yeah, the link's in there. I am so proud of her. She is, like you said, she's happy, she's intelligent, she's beautiful, you know, she's everything. Literally makes my heart sing every morning.
Yeah, I can't see the link, Julie. If you give it to me, and then I can.
Oh, did I put it? I put it in the private chat instead of the comments. Here we are.
No. Oh, okay.
Do I join the chat? Oh, connect your YouTube account to join the chat live. Yeah. Let's have a go. I might end up messing up here.
We've got. I just want to say hello to a couple of people. Leanne's joined us. Nat's pulling funny faces. I know it's a sad situation. It really is. Di is saying it was East Huntsville, Somerset. So it was in Somerset. That's right. I'd forgotten all about that. And Lorraine, all the way from Adelaide, is saying hi, Val and Jules. So, and lovely Susan Penno as well. Hello, hello, hello. So we're talking to my beautiful friend Julie, who lives in the UK, who against adversity has set up all of these or this network for single mums. It's Single Mums Business Network, and she's just put the link up there if anybody's interested. And on that website is Julie's book, Breaking Out of Benefits Jail. And it's funny, I haven't read the whole book, but I've read parts of it. And the reason I haven't read the whole book is because I know your story. And when I'm reading this, it was, oh my goodness me, I can't believe you went through that. You know, it was just awful. But, you know, when I look at you and what you're doing, and congratulations on your new post now, which is really exciting. So that's, yeah, and it's letting people know that you can come through these things. But one of the things that I know with you, Julie, is that your spiritual belief has carried you through so much. And that has given you is that Kaylin in the background, by the way?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Is it okay? It's not too interfering.
No, it's okay. But your spiritual beliefs have carried you through. And you said, you know, by rights you shouldn't be here, but Spirit working with you has actually kept you here on the straight and narrow and fighting the cause for all these other people. And if you think about it, and I love when I think about things this way, you're only one person, and the number of people say, but I'm only one person, how can I make a difference? And you're only one person, but look at the difference you've made. It's been phenomenal.
Yeah, thank you. And it is, and that's it, isn't it? We can all think that who am I to sort of, you know, who am I to sort of make a fuss? But we all need to make a fuss. That's the, I mean, who is anybody? You know, that's
Yeah.
the first thing you're taught in school, isn't it? You know, if you feel intimidated by your teachers, you need to imagine them sat on the toilet. You know, that's the kind of thing. You know, we're all human, and it doesn't matter what position anybody has got in life. The only reason I ever wanted to be an actress when I was younger is because I wanted an audience, because I knew I had something to say. I didn't know what it was then, but I knew I wanted to connect. And I knew I was here for a purpose and for a reason. And, you know, the only reason I ever sought fame was not for the money or cars. I just, you know, I didn't end up being an actress, but that didn't stop me, because, you know, we've got social media these days. We've got the power of platforms, and it takes time
Yeah.
to build those platforms. But you do, you know, you've just got to speak your truth. And the more we talk about it and the more we unify, the more good work we can do. And before the conference on Saturday, I have actually been invited to Parliament on Monday, next Monday. Yeah, and I'm a dual APPG for finance and business, and there's quite a few MPs there. It's a really good event, and it's the Finance Innovation Lab have been doing it, so I'm actually speaking there as well.
That's so exciting.
It's so exciting because I am just me, you know, literally 13 years ago, I was a 35-year-old lady, so depressed before I became a mum, drinking pints and smoking fags outside the front of the pub, just not knowing who I was or where I was going with life, and feeling like it was game over, you know, and here I am being invited, you know, to, so yeah, it's, anybody can do it. You just need to,
it's interesting that you said about your background and where you wanted to go and where you've ended up. And mine was exactly the same. I wanted to be a singer and a musician, and that is all I ever wanted to do from the age of 8. And the world had different ideas for me. And like you, as a single mum, no money, struggling like crazy, and I didn't want to be in this world. And I've put this in my book, so it's, you know, it's pretty common knowledge. But it was finding Spirit that actually pulled me out and saved me. And it also gave me the strength to, I'm using my voice now, like you, in a different way, but in a very powerful way, because it helps so many people to know that Spirit is real, Spirit can help you, Spirit can make those changes. And it's not, I get annoyed with some people because they're, oh, Spirit this and Spirit that. You've got to work alongside them, but you've got to know that you're being given that guidance and that help to be able to get out of something. And I think, you know, I look at myself and I think, where did all that strength come from? But I did it, and I'm still doing it. And, you know, when people look at my, for instance, my schedule for this 6 weeks, and they're going, what?
Oh, it's wonderful, Val. I mean, I'm so excited. I wish I was kind of nearer to Caerphilly for sort of Wednesday night, but of course, Kanan starts school Wednesday as well. So I'm thinking I'm going to have to miss it, but I just can't wait to see you. And I'll be going from here as well, so if you're not sorted in Bristol, but we can talk about that later. But the Spirit, they have 100%. I mean, what do you call it? Class sensing, when you sense that they're there, and
it's clairsentient.
Yeah, so you kind of hear it, but you don't hear it. You just feel it. You just know it. It's a sensing. Yeah, so that's the kind of the way that I feel like I've been working with them, or they've been working with me, you know, over the years since I kind of opened up to that. It's just that trusting. Sometimes I think it's intuition, but sometimes I just know it's you're literally being guided, what to do and what not to do. And sometimes,
I was just going to say, before we come into this world, the spirit world are going, okay. And I want to say hello to Angela and Manny, by the way. But the spirit world, when we're over there and we're choosing our parents, and they say, right, you've got to go into this life. And I actually did a past life regression many, many years ago. And they took me to the 15th of February, 1955. I've just given my age away on my birthday. So don't forget my birthday, everybody. So, and he took me to this day. And I'm absolutely, I could feel the tears running down my face. And he said, "What's the matter?" And I said, "I know what I have to do. I know it's going to be hard. I know it's going to be a fight all the way. But I chose that life because it's part of my spiritual progression. So each one of us choose our parents." And I know the number of people that have said, "What would I choose them for?" But then when you look back and you think, well, what have they taught me? Where have I gained my strengths from? And how much better than them am I? And then you look at what you're doing in your life, and oh yes, okay, I'll come to that in a second, Lawrence. Thank you, and thank you for joining us. But it is really, really hard when you do get here and you're going through all of those. But it wasn't until I found my spiritual path that I went, now I know why I learned all of those skills. Now I know why I chose those parents. Now I know why I'm on this journey. Because like you, I can be, and this is not about ego, by the way, but I can now travel the world and be the voice that says anybody can do this, and anybody can have spirit helping and guiding you. And it's not for the selected, it's for everybody, because we're all born with those abilities, but we just don't tap into that for some reason or other. So I'm really happy that you did that, and you chose when you came in, this was what you had to do. So all those crying in your soup, it wasn't going to make an iota of difference, because spirit are going, yeah, come on, pull your socks up and get on with this.
No, but even then, I think the crying in the soup is an important part of the journey, because without the pain, how would I know what needed fixing?
Yes.
I had to experience the pain, the real, without realizing it was just superficial, I suppose. It was real pain, because I had to really care enough to want to speak up for the community that I represent. So that, yeah, the pain is real, and sometimes they remind me. I'm like, you really don't need to remind me anymore. I've got this. I know what I need to do.
Yeah.
Don't need any more examples or tasters. Thank you very much.
The number of times I've gone, "What are you doing? All right, I'm listening," and I just get so angry. But or pull your finger out and make this happen. You told me this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Now make it work. Oh gosh! And people say to me, "You can't talk to spirit like that." I said, "Yes, I can."
Well, exactly. It's that same toilet, the teacher on the toilet seat, isn't it? They're still us, even if they're the other side. It's like, no, what are you doing? I dare you.
But I think we're very lucky in that, we've been given these very tough jobs to do in this lifetime, I'm going to say. But we've got the understanding and the belief that we're not on our own. We may be on our own physically, because people around us have gone, I don't want to know. But that the spirit world are there with you, helping you. And I think what happened with me is I went, okay, whatever you bring me, whatever you give me, I'm going to deal with. Just bring it on. And I made a big challenge to them. And I think once you get to that point, that's when the real journey starts to happen and the real magic starts to happen. And I often look back at when I did that and I think, oh my goodness me, look what I'm doing now. So, and who'd have thought, I'd be coming over to the UK and Portugal and Spain, doing 6 weeks of work, never in a million years. But I'm being cheeky as well, because Portugal is interesting. I've met Bruno on this live chat, and we've become really good friends. And he's come to some classes and he's joined in various things. And I said, I'm coming to the UK. What if I jump on a plane and come over to Portugal? What do you think? And he went, yay! So you have to push yourself as well, don't you?
Yeah, you do. You have to be brazen and sort of just say, because I've done that. That's how I've reached out to a few. I've gone to some people that the old me would never have dreamt of reaching out to on LinkedIn, and I would just send them a DM and say, "Do you want to see a coffee, like a physical coffee? Like, never mind Zoom. Can we just brainstorm?" And that's when you get 2% of them say yes, 98% of them ignore you. But then I save the ones that ignore me, and I think, right, they say when you reach out, you never know who you're going to meet in a care home. I always say the ones that reject me, so for future reference.
So I just wanted to go back to Lawrence's comment. He put, sadly, the glass ceiling is still very entrenched in the societal mind. So that's going back to what you were talking about, Julie. It's really hard, isn't it, to break through some of those things that have been in place for such a long, long time. And it's really hard. And you do get exasperated. I know you do, and you have done.
Yeah, of course, it breaks me, but you have to keep trying. That's the problem, because the glass ceiling isn't going to smash itself. You have to keep going at it. You know, if you're driving in the car and your only way to sort of save your life is to smash through the window, then you can't quit, because the only guarantee of failure is quitting. So yes, it's really hard, and yes, it's there, but you have to keep at it, because that's the only way to break it.
Yeah. The other thing, I'm thinking of things from the children's perspective. Sometimes children, I'm trying to say this without pointing any fingers, but sometimes your children will blame you for various things. And you know that you've done your best to give them every opportunity that you possibly can to make their life better than what you had. And I know I've seen this so many times when the children go, well, you're a rotten mother and I don't want anything to do with you. And you could have done this, this, and this. And why didn't that happen? But they have got no idea what you went through to actually get to where they are, or get them to where they are.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny that, you know, that you talk about this book. In 2016, I wrote a very, very little book called Finding Happiness and Freeing Your Spirit, which is also on Amazon. And in that, I make reference to that blame game and blaming your parents. You know, it's okay to blame your parents for stuff when you're literally a juvenile, but when you're an adult and you keep blaming them for everything that goes wrong in your life, it's like you can learn the lessons from when you're a child, but I've since apologized to my mum, because I didn't realize what she was dealing with, you know, when we were at loggerheads. And so I respect the journey that she went on. And I respect what I learned from that. But actually, from the age of sort of being a young woman, it was on me. It was
Yes.
on me how I reacted. It was on me how hard I worked. And it was on me, you know, what decisions I made and everything else. And I think, you know, there comes a point where you need to stop the blame game and think, you know, that lady kept me safe, or that man kept me safe and loved me, you know, safe, warm, loved, fed, which is a blessing, because some children don't even get that. But that's where I suppose making peace with it and learning the lesson and having a purpose to heal others. Hawkins.
Yes.
It's on.
HAWKINS.
Let me put the. I don't know if Amazon brings them both up.
Well, you do that, and so there's Bristol, Bristol with Julie that I'm doing, which is fantastic. I'm looking forward to that. The Harlequin with 4 of us, which is in Red Hill. The tea rooms in Havant with Jenny, the Borough Football Club, and then I'm going to Poole with Lawrence and Karen Wood. It's funny, I'm Val Hood, she's Karen Wood, and we started off our journey together, would you believe? It's really bizarre. Anyway, so we're doing a DEM, and both of us are doing a workshop, one on psychic development and one on mediumship development. And we're also doing a chat, and we're also doing readings. So that's all through Poole Spiritualist Church. And any of these dates and information are actually on my website, which I'm going to put up on here, so anybody can find on the events page. All the information that we're talking about is on there. And then my readings in Red Hill are all sold out. And then I'm going to Paynton, and on the 30th I'm doing a workshop in the daytime and a mediumship demonstration in the evening, which I'm extremely excited about as well. Oh my gosh, Jack and Lola are going to be there as well. I didn't realize that. That's fantastic, Lawrence. So yeah, great. It's lovely. For so many years, we've been talking to one another on live, you know, online. And it's so lovely that I'm going to be meeting so many people now in person. And I just keep going up as I'm meeting them. I'm just going touch, touch, touch. You know, I can actually feel you, real person. So yeah, and then I'm going and catching up with a friend in Spain and then I catch up with family again, and then I'm heading home. So the trip is going to be a bit of a whirlwind thing. And it's interesting because when I get back, I'm going straight back into work, which is crazy, crazy, crazy. Anyway, what were we talking about? And you were finding the link for your book and your surname.
And I think I've just split it over 2 different things, but I think they'll be able to. I think you'll be able to figure it out. It's all on my website.
Yeah, as long as people go to your website, they should be able to find it. So, yeah, what would we do without our spiritual beliefs and spiritual knowledge? I don't know. I don't know what I would have done, to be quite honest. But I'm super proud of you and what you do, and the fact that you're still fighting, but you've got a new business that you've just set up. Am I allowed to say that?
Oh yeah, it's absolutely fine. It's just really part of the argument. You're talking about the estate agency one.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really just part of the frustration. So I was trying to move to London, and to cut a long story short, I experienced exactly the same issues that I already knew existed. So through the SMBN, I've been fighting against barriers to work, homes and finance, and how CCJs impact everything. So anyway, when I tried to move to London, having a cat and a dog and being a single mum, it doesn't make any difference how professional I am. They just, there's still a lot of stigma and discrimination out there. So being a qualified estate agent, and then of course doing the law degree to learn more about property law, and then doing civil litigation for a couple of years in property disputes, etc. I thought, well, this is nonsense. So I've been speaking to the government about this for a few years. I've been trying to raise awareness of it through the SMBN for a few years, but we've still got a very unethical, greedy property market, and discriminatory one as well. So myself and Pollyanna thought, okay, we'll open our own estate agency. We've got combined experience to do alongside the SMBN and the other thing that I'm doing. But it's just that it exists to again, make some noise, but from the inside, because we are undercutting traditional estate agents in that we are offering landlords who do not discriminate. Well, in fact, we are just rejecting landlords who do discriminate. They just can't come to us at all.
I love that, Julie. I when I saw that in your blurb that I read, and I was so impressed because you've been there, you know what it's like. You've been evicted, you've been on the street, and you want to help single. And I said earlier, it's not just about single mums anymore, because you help single dads as well, because it's just as difficult for them looking after families, trying to work. But you've done it, and I love the ethics behind your new business about helping, as you said, from the inside out and making people look at things in completely different ways. So well done.
Yeah, I mean, we've got the Renters Reform Act coming in, but why do we need the law to tell us what's right and wrong? It's almost like people drag their feet and wait for the law to force them to do the right thing. And we don't want to wait for the Renters Reform Act, and even then there'll be ways around it. So we're just saying, look, we're rewarding good landlords with low fees, and it's quite simple. Just understand that these are humans looking for homes, and it's about the animals as much as the discrimination, because we've got cats protection, dogs protection. They're under so much pressure. Like, our pets are our family, and to be forced to give away your 4-legged family, because that's what people are forced to do. If you people are still evicted for no reason, and if you can't move with your pets, you have to give those poor animals to shelter. The shelters are it's criminal. So I've enough shouting from the outside, so we're doing it from the inside, and we're saying this isn't okay, basically, and we're going to make sure it's very obvious it's not okay. We're expecting a lot of backlash from the industry, but I'm less concerned about them and more concerned about the people we help. I've had enough backlash to be able to, like you said, you think, get to a point where you think it just doesn't matter. It's water off a duck's back.
Yeah,
go for it. I'm not interested.
Can you put the link up for your estate agency as well? And what area are you in again, Julie? Is it the Bristol
area? So we're covering. So I'm in Herefordshire. Pollyanna's in Hertfordshire, and then we'll be sort of in between us. Obviously, we both drive, so Monmouthshire, Oxfordshire, basically wherever we can commute. But even then, depending on the level that's required, it's something that you can do nationally, particularly with sales.
Mm.
You know, there's lots of different. There are lots of different restrictions, but there are also ways that the landlord can show the tenant, you know, we can still manage it, introduction only remotely. So I would say national, but there will be restrictions the further afield we go into what we can offer. But between Monmouthshire, Herefordshire, Hertfordshire, Oxfordshire, we'll just be creeping along from the southwest to the southeast and in the south.
Well, if anybody listening to this can share that, if you've got people who know, or if you know people who've got difficulties with finding accommodation, then, you know, pop along to Julie and Pollyanna, isn't it? Their website, and have a look and speak to them, pick the phone up and talk to them, because these people have been where, you know, where we've all been, and had difficulties getting. It's actually interesting because when I was trying to get rental here, I didn't have a rental background. So I didn't have any references or anything. And that was difficult as well. So is that the sort of thing that you'd be able to help with as well?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we literally are like, so it's kind of like the Purple Shoots ethos. So the Purple Shoots are the finance, the human people behind there. And we are doing the same with property. It's, yes, we will look at references and things like that, but we won't discriminate. We will look at what's on paper and say, okay, why does it say this? Why does it say that? It's just human. Where have you come from? Who are you? You know, we will do all the checking because we don't want the landlords to be vulnerable, but at the same time we will be so don't tempt me in that. I might just come over to Australia.
I was just going to say, get a ticket and come over here, Julie. Yeah, I've been trying to get Julie over here for years, and I know that, you know, we would benefit from you being over here. So that's not such a silly question, Nat. Thank you.
Yeah, but equally, you know, whilst we are very much about protecting society and we want more human behaviour, for families and pets and everything, I mean, some people go a whole lifetime without being able to hang a picture on a wall.
I know.
That's disgraceful.
Yeah.
So whilst we are all about that, we are also about protecting those landlords then. So if we are trusting you, we will also then come down with the full force of the law, and because the Renters Reform Act is also bringing in you know, strengthened powers to evict a tenant on non-payment of rent, or, you know, bad behaviour or whatever. So we won't hesitate to equally protect the landlord should the tenant turn out to be rogue. But, you know, we actually, it's all about humanity, and it's all about not discriminating people from having that home, you know, regardless of what they look like on paper or what their family structure is.
It's interesting because I'm looking at the people who are on here, and there are so many of them that have been single parents or single parents. I didn't want to discriminate between men and women, but they've been single parents, and the comments and things that are coming on here is people understand what you're talking about, and they've been through that journey as well. So it's, and that's the frustrating thing, is these, I'm going to say, the fat cats in their big cars and their big bank balances and their big fat wallets in their pockets have got no idea what people like us have had to go through, to be able to get just through every day.
Exactly. And this is where, you know, there's a lot of talk about equity and, you know, having an even playing field to start from, you know, this level playing field. And but again, because our community is not covered by the Equality Act, we don't benefit from the protections that come into the Equality Act. So we don't have equal opportunity to this, that, or the other, because we're not recognised as a minority or vulnerable group in any way. So that's, you know, our work is just this entire 360. But it's work that we will continue to do to ensure that our children don't experience what we've experienced. And I'm not having a meeting, am I? So yeah, there's work to be done, and we do appreciate any help because we have to all make a fuss. So any raising awareness of it is just brilliant. It helps us to make a stand and say enough is enough. We're not standing for it anymore.
I think people need to say, oh, stop saying I'm only one person, I can't make a difference, because you absolutely can. Every little drop, what do they say? The ocean is made up of millions of little drops, and without those millions of little drops, there would be no ocean. So we can, if we really put our minds to it. So it's Di has just said she saw an advert last night, not sure of costs protection for landlords, costs legal and rent covered if tenants cause or have issues, no ideas of terms and conditions. Maybe you can send that to us or to Julie so she can have a look at that, Di. That would be an interesting one. Anyway, we're coming to the end. And I'm really glad that we've managed to get you on here as well, Julie. I should have done this before. We've been friends for such a long time and I've just watched your journey. But I love the fact, as I said, the fact that you've got that spirituality. And the number of times you've come to me and said, I need some help. What do I do? And then we just tap in to the spirit world, and you've got so much guidance and help, I know, along the way. And it's hard. It's funny because when I was going through my difficulties, I didn't realize that I could tap in for myself. I still don't do that as often as I should do. And I think all of us need to remember that we actually can just tap in and see what happens. And I'm doing it more and more now, which is really good. So, but it's whether we actually pay attention to that. Oh, do I trust that? Do I believe that? Is that me just making it up, or that's what I want to hear? And that has actually happened to me in the last couple of months. So it's, very interesting. But anyway, I won't go into that. So
being open to help, though, Val, I would like to come in there, because being open to help is very, very important.
Oh, yes.
When it's the likes of us who aren't open to help because we feel like we're helping all the time. Yeah, exactly. So you have helped me so much over the years. You know that in so many ways. And that all that will come out in time. But you have to be open to help. And the strongest thing I read is we all our heart bleeds when we hear about somebody taking their own life, doesn't it? And you think, if only I'd known. I've lost a few people to suicides just in the last couple of years, and I think, if only I'd known, I would have just gone and had a cuppa with them and spoke to them and helped them. If only I'd known. Do any of us tell each other? And it's not about being suicidal. It's about saying, I'm struggling, I need help.
Yeah.
And I only did this last month in the closed members group. I cried in front of all of my members and I said, I am struggling to hold this together. I need help. And that was really hard for me to do as a leader, to admit that I was absolutely really struggling with everything that's going on, and help came.
Yes.
So you have to say, whatever it is you need. If you've lost your bank card and you need everyone to send you a tenner, Val, you need to say, like, really loudly and proudly, you guys, I help you every day, every week, every month, every year.
Yeah.
Ping me. Just don't let one of these scammers listen to this and take over and think that everybody's sending them a DM from you. But
but it is hard when you're a strong, independent person to actually put your hand up and say, I need some help. It really is. And it was funny because it's only in the last couple of weeks, I'm sure it was only in the last couple of weeks. And I thought, I need some help. And I didn't actually go out and ask anybody, but I looked at things in a different way for myself. Because I'm still that stubborn, independent person that can't go out and ask for help. I still don't like to do that. So I just turned it around for me to look at things in a completely different way. And that's made such a difference to the outcome of whatever was going on. But one thing I'd love to say is, how many times, and I've said this before, how many times do we have people in our lives that don't serve us, that damage us, that cause us issues, and we think that we have to have them there? No, we don't. And you just need to say, sorry, off you go. And I have done that recently on a couple of in a couple of areas. And I tell you what, I feel 10 times lighter. I feel 10 times happier. And I don't need all that drama and, all of that sort of stuff. So just do it is what I would say. Just do it. Okay. Oh, Addie Townsend, lovely to see you on here. Haven't seen you for a long time. Okay. So I think today's been very interesting because we've talked spiritual, but we've also talked worldly, everyday living for a group of people that I have a great feeling for and a great empathy is the word, because I was one of those as well, a single parent struggling with the finance, where to go, what to do, how to do it. And I remember, do you know what? I remember I actually went to the Women's Refuge once. And I went to them and I said, I don't know what to do. What do you think? What can I do? They said, you're just going to have to walk out of your home and leave everything behind. And I said, well, everything that is in my home belongs to me. And I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. So I felt and thought it was very unfair that I would have had to walk away and leave everything behind. And I know maybe if I'd done that, that probably would have, better outcome for my life. I don't know. But yeah, I couldn't leave things that I'd worked really hard for with somebody else. I'm sure you hear that all the time, Julie, don't you?
Yeah, it is really hard. You are, that's the whole. But I think you've forgiven yourself and making peace with you doing what you thought was best at the time is the most crucial thing there. We all have to forgive ourselves. We do what we can and what we think's right. And then the people that impacts, they also have to understand and forgive and appreciate that. Thing is, none of us ever do anything wrong out of malice.
No.
None of us ever intend to hurt another person, ever.
No.
We always do our best. We do what we can cope with, what our strength is. And sometimes in hindsight, we wish we'd done it a different way, but we do our best.
There's a comment there from Costa. My friend is broke and started dancing for gay men on the internet. Now his dad is threatening to kick him out. Any advice? Gosh, good for you that you're actually, thinking of doing something, or he's doing something. I'm sure there's places where he could go and get some advice and help. Don't you reckon, Julie?
Yeah, I think tapping into the right communities for that is probably the best thing, because Twitter is actually brilliant. If you look in the search bar on Twitter and tap in a few keywords, you find that really good, strong support communities. And of course, it depends on his age. Where are you? Are you in the UK? Are you in Australia? I mean, there's so many layers to that. You can't possibly advise on that. It's just,
no.
Obviously there's the dad's beliefs, your friend, whether it's a male or female, assuming it's a male, if it's dancing for gay men. There's so many layers to that. It's not a quick advice thing, is it? But there's definitely 100%, there's definitely communities out there. And that is the wonderful thing about Google. We had the yellow pages, didn't we? And we had to go and find something yellow pages in the phone box. Google finds me a support network, for the gay community, or for being risk of homelessness in whatever country you're in. Google will just give you 20 options straight away. That's what's so wonderful. Anything you need, Google has the answer.
And he's just said he lives in the US Bible Belt. Well, that's difficult on its own, isn't it? But even so, there's still always ways and means of finding help. And just tell him to reach out, as Julie's just said, and I think that probably would help. Now we're going to just close in a second, but I just wanted to revise or remind everybody of the fact that I'm going to be anywhere and everywhere in the southeast of England and Portugal doing my work. Very proud of the fact that I do this, but I'm working with Jenny Doherty, fantastic medium. She is so funny. Karen Wood, great medium. Neil, I've not worked with Neil before, but I know he's a great medium. We've all been trained through the Arthur Findlay College, and Jenny did the SAGB, so Spiritual Association of Great Britain, but all great backgrounds and great reputations. So we're all looking forward to doing what we do and helping you to get those magical connections and sharing the love from your loved ones in the spirit world. So for any of you that are interested in Poole, Paignton, Hampshire, Surrey, and Wales, go and have a look at my website and see what and Portugal. Go and have a look at the website, and it's all on there. And Julie, I'm so looking forward to come to Bristol to work and do, the show for you as well. And Eva, you've come on and we're just about finished, so you'll have to go back and watch it again. But Julie, it was lovely sharing your story and knowing that, all the way through you've had that faith and belief that there is always somebody that's got your back. And I know that I held your back a little bit, which has been important for me to do as well. But I'm impressed and love the fact that you've done so much for so many, and you're just continuing to do so. But I reckon that you've got Emily Pankhurst. She's up there and she's watching you and she's going, yes.
I just need Elizabeth Smallwood to work her magic from Spirit side as well. If we could do that, that would be amazing.
Yes. Anyway, we're going to say goodbye, and thank you all so much for joining us. And if you watch this online, as online, yeah, that's what it is, online. If we can do anything to help, get in touch with us. And Julie's put her information up here. I've put my information up, and look forward to speaking to you all again very, very soon. Thank you.
Everyone.
Thank you.
See you soon.